And that's new. But when I tell you, once again, you impress me once again. Me being I'm 34 and still growing in life, and from meeting Leah and how she was, how she speaks and how respectful she is, especially how she speak about her parents, and meeting the rest of her siblings, and it's always been a high regard. Then when I found out, when I counted, I was like, oh man, I was like. I was like, oh man, I was like, and majority girls too. I like, man, he doing something right. And
Yes.
the first I said he got to have God in his life first and
Oh,
foremost to make that happen. And
that is the head, believe me, Drake. That is the head within itself. That is the head totally there. And Lord knows we didn't do it by ourselves. I mean, we thank God for him leading us, but also by us working together no matter what.
yes,
We
hey, you're a vast wealth of knowledge, and I appreciate even just being friends with you, even on Facebook, and having you here right here. But y'all, right now we have Mr. Calvin. I know I'm gonna keep it at L. Johnson Sr. with us today with Everything Culture. And we are doing the makings of him, the makings of Calvin Johnson Sr. So thank you again. How you doing, Mr. Johnson?
doing great, Drake. Thank you ever so much for having me. I really appreciate it greatly.
Uh, and I do apologize to Nick. Once again, I tell Leah all the time that I'm gonna tell you when I keep my word. I mean, I don't ever say when, but I keep my word. I've been talking about having you on for a long time, and that's why I've been looking forward to it. You just gotta find that right time. But
That's it.
thank you, thank
That's
you,
it.
thank you. And once again, if y'all listen to Everything Culture, thank y'all so much. And if y'all know, one of the most frequent guests that we've had is Leah Johnson from Take a Space Pod and Champions of Discourse and Black Horror Humor. Good friend in the podcast game with me. This is her father. So man, y'all know y'all about to get a wealth of knowledge here. So this is going to be a treat. I'm looking forward to it. And the same questions that we ask everyone. Um, First question we have here: how would you describe your culture?
Rich with history, rich with knowledge, and look like our culture evolves over, how can I say, when their back's up against the wall, they find a way. It's something like it's instilled in the DNA. You cannot find a better culture that's so creative. They overall they can take a nothing, and God can instill something within them to create and say, "There goes."
Love that.
There's very few people that could look at something. It's almost like an artist. They could just take that lump of clay and just already imagine it, how they're going to design and fix it and make it to come to pass. While everybody else is that's just a lump of clay. That's one of the ways I look at it.
Mm. Ooh, okay, love it, love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How would you describe yourself?
Ah, still learning, still learning. I am so grateful for a wife and my children because so many things I have learned to grow from, in spite of the different challenges that life might have to throw at you. Um, I definitely learned responsibility, you know, making sure that I provided and kept a roof over their head. Try to instill in them some of the main key things that was instilled in us growing up, my sister and I, two-parent household. We were grateful and blessed, but to respect our elders, hear our elders out, you know, show concern. Gone are the days, unfortunately, of uh, the village helping to raise the children. That's almost out the door. So
Mm.
we have to kind of instill into the grandchildren of how things are should be, because it's not about helping one another. It's look like it has taken a back seat, and it's all about using the person to get to what you want, and that's really hurtful. And if we could, if I could just stop right there, the one of the key things I've noticed of late is the relationship is torn between a generation.
Mm,
They wants to be heard.
mm.
You hear what they're saying, but if they don't like your response, they ain't hear nothing you say. You know, you could share with them all day long of the right path to take. I respect that part, but just like I'm listening to you, also hear what I'm saying.
Communication.
Exactly. The communication has been broken. Part of it, social media. You know, the toughness was being a provider and protecting your family, not about how many you done shot up in a crowd to get ranks. You know,
Mm,
it has taken an altogether different face.
mm. Ooh, see, and that's one of the big reasons why I want you to come back with this upcoming episode, the special we have, because you said a mouthful, and I was on and once again, this is the makings of Mr. Calvin Johnson Senior. But
Right.
I was on a episode. I was on someone else's episode. Shout out to the Boondocks podcast, and they do a podcast about the show, the Boondocks, and about certain episodes. And it was a bit everything you just said. It was like that episode had in there. It was it was talking about how it's a satire, of course, but how family, you had the selfish side of the family and you had the lazy, quote unquote, lazy side of the family, and how the family that come from a lower income will kind of use the family that they think is rich, and not understanding that the rich family, like, I'm not rich, I'm on a set income. It just looked like that,
Right.
and you're coming at me and you using all my stuff, and now I'm the bad guy because I'm telling you you got to find a job or something, and you want me to take care of you. And the other side don't want to hear that. They just want to know, I see, that's my perception of, I see you got it, you should might as well give it to me, but why do you deserve it? That's something I've asked on the show. What do you deserve? I used to ask. But that's the concept we come back to. What do you identify as?
Identify as a black man.
All right, well, you hit it on the nose for
Black
you.
man,
What? There's no wrong answers here. This is the main. This is your thing right here.
a black man that loves the Lord,
Okay, okay,
love his
okay.
love his wife,
Mm-hmm.
love his children. You know, do anything within reason that be helpful.
Mm. Love it, love it. What is your zodiac sign?
If I had one, it would be Virgo, September.
Virgo. Okay,
Yeah.
September. Okay, they try to get around where your birthday at. How would you define your childhood and your upbringing?
Now, some folks would look at that and laugh, but to me, raised up in Hunters Point, San Francisco, and that was the early years. It was a joy to me. In the projects, the first 12 years in the projects, we played kickball, we played outside, the neighborhood, regardless of everything else that was running around, there was love.
Mm.
There was love. And you didn't grow up fast. You didn't grow up fast because at the time when I was growing up, when I use the term fast, you stayed in a child's place. You wasn't doing grown up things. You didn't see that until junior high, until you got away from that area. And I could never understand why at the age of 12, my parents purchased their first home and we moved away from the projects. Well, my father had already seen the drug scene was getting ready to creep into the project area. So thank God that kept us out of that zone. And that changed the whole course of things. A lot of my friends, childhood friends, are not here today because they got caught up in that web. And then years later, by working at the mortuary, I would see a lot of them weekly. They would come through there, and that was a mind blower for me. So I was going like, wow. And we're talking about late 60s, mid 70s. That was just a constant flow, because we was on the upswing, and then Heron came in. And when Heron came in, they was clocking out just like a time clock.
You know, I joke on the show, and I joke with person, my friends, my family. I don't know what happened in the 70s, but I'm like, I'll be saying it's something happened in our community. It was a lot of good, but it was a lot of bad that I saw. And I think the same thing enhanced in the 80s when, and I'm not putting that on a substance, but that substance did make a difference in our community, depending if you lived within it.
Right.
So, and thank you for sharing. You're one of the first people to I had on to actually share that experience in that way. And you say you worked at a mortuary. How long did you do that?
I worked at Bayview Mortuary as a musician first.
Okay, I heard
Uh,
you. I heard you. I got a lot of talent. All right.
musician first, but the gentleman that owned it at the time, Ellis Finley, he's gone on to glory now. Bayview Mortuary in San Francisco. And from there, it was surprising that he would, I would talk to him and telling me at that time you go to school for 13 months and you get certified, get your certificate, and you would be a mortician.
I got a friend that's doing it now.
Yeah. And it was sweet. What made me not pursue that, I couldn't deal with the babies.
She said that's the hardest thing as well. She was a guest on the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't deal with the babies. And
Wow.
his name was at the time was Brown. Brown said, "Do you smoke?" I said, "Nope." He said, "Do you drink?" I said, "Nope." He said, "Okay, whatever you encounter while you're here, once you walk out that door, you leave it here."
Mm.
And I never forgot that. I never forgot that. So I just said, wow.
Very good advice. Hard to do, but very good advice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you will see all things. And when I say all things, believe me, all things that come through the mortuary.
Wow, wow, wow. So, coming up, you said you came from a two-parent home. So, what were the roles of your parents when you were coming up?
All we know is mama was the one who made a way, had the meals cooked and clothes cleaned. My dad was in the Navy. He retired in the Navy.
Okay.
Did his 20 years and then became a warehouseman.
Okay.
He was the total breadwinner. They allowed me to start learning how to play at the age of 12. And 14, a church hired me as their organist. But no, they didn't hire me.
You got to clean that up. Go ahead.
They hired me. I cut my teeth with a church of St. John for a number of years. And then years later, a church hired me. Little Zion Baptist Church in San Francisco hired me as their organist. And I learned, and I just constantly was getting with other musicians, learning, picking up by ear. The lessons had stopped because I was picking up by ear and being shown by my older musician friends, as well as youngsters. You learn something, you share it. Learn something, show it, and share it. And, the rest became history.
Wow, love it, love it. You mentioned you have a sibling. Do you have how many siblings do you have, and where do you fall in between?
Just one sister, I'm the oldest.
Oh wow, okay, okay.
Yeah. Now, don't ask me how in the world one sister and wind up with 7 girls and 3 boys.
Mm.
I always wanted a big family. My mom, she had a large family. My dad, he only had 3 brothers.
Mm.
And that was it. But I always wanted, and the Lord blessed me. Blessed me with a beautiful wife. And I wanted all boys.
Well,
And but I'm grateful for my girls. I love them to death. I'm grateful. He gave me one of my biggest joys, who blessed me with all our children and twins.
mm.
I always say I wanted twins. Didn't know it was going to be on the back end, but
Yeah, later on.
like, what? So be careful what you ask
I,
for.
I, I was just about to say that he'll give it to you. It may not be when you want it, but he'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just, wow.
Where do you consider home?
Home used to be San Francisco.
Okay.
Uh, Home is wherever I could be with the wife and it's peaceful. I make that home.
Love it, love it, love
I have a- I don't have a permanent location as far as I love the warm weather. When we went over to the Virgin Islands
it.
back in 2019, I fell in love with that place so much until I could actually retire there.
Mm.
I could just stay there because I like the scenery. I knew it was a vacation, but just the idea of just watching the ocean, the food, walking around the beach, even though it was a resort, but we went outside of all of that and seeing how others live. It makes you really
Yes,
appreciate life, like
yes,
wow.
yes.
That's it was a mind blower because I was saying, wow, they're doing some of the things I was raised up learning.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, and some of these values still may be intact. That's why I look at it.
Yes, yes.
Um, that's how I feel. My wife, I wanted to go outside of the resort. We went to Punta Cana in Dominican Republic, and I wanted to go to the little villages. See what they're talking about. Same thing when we were in Saint Lucia, same feeling. So
Mm.
you answered one of the questions right there, but hey, that is something I was want to know if you could just live anywhere or just your place to stay, where would you want to be? And that
Uh,
was a great response.
yeah.
Okay. Well, when I said once again, these all your responses are the correct response. So say that again. Um, what were your chores growing up? Or your
I
responsibilities? Let's say that.
respect my parents.
Mm,
That was the top of the list. You didn't come in and talk crazy, show any kind of disrespect to my mom or dad.
mm,
Even if when I became of age and thought that I wanted to give a side eye, you know, they hurried up and let me remember who I was,
mm-hmm.
what was going to go down. Chores, Drake. That's not a trick question, but it makes me laugh now because okay, keep my room clean
Mm-hmm.
and my clothes. If I put something in the cleaner, it was my responsibility to go and get it out the cleaners. And basically, whatever they asked me to do, without any hesitation, it wasn't no thing about I didn't have time for that. No, it was no. You gonna make time and do it, and that was it.
And that response right there. Ooh, no, no, I'm about to say this is your thing. Don't get me. I don't want to get started down. See, I was raised partially by my grandparents that was born in 1918, and I'm like, yeah, that I know you didn't get a choice what to choose. So it's like whatever has been said. Like, but it goes. How were you disciplined growing up then?
Got a butt whooping
Okay,
with the
okay.
belt, with the belt or the switch. Well,
Mm,
as we was younger, it was with the switch. With the belt, there wasn't no call to the police. There wasn't no screaming and hollering. No, no, no. You got handled. You got dealt with. And
mm,
don't act a fool at school. Oh, no, 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 no. But it was never a point that we had to be coached before we went out.
mm,
We knew before we went out that door who we were and who our parents were, and you represent accordingly.
mm.
So that always stayed with me, no matter what.
Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, what are and what were or what are your beliefs?
I still believe in God. I believe in God with my whole heart. I still believe in family values. As unfortunately, maybe it's not being taught or it's being shared in a different form. I respect that. I still strongly believe that the man is the provider. This is my beliefs. The man is the provider. I kind of shake my head at some of the brothers that just wait to get with somebody that has something instead of working to try to get something together. I'm not trying to sponge off of somebody that has worked and did all the labor to achieve their major goals, and then you just go slide in and enjoy it, and you ain't lift a cup. You know, I definitely believe in getting a job, legally getting a job. I had to say that because some people might have incomes that may flow in a different way, but have a job, have responsibility, and if you want respect, show respect. I don't have to talk down to you to be able to relate to you. I don't have to talk down to anybody in order to show who I am. And let's just come to terms of using some decent language. All that cursing and this and that just to get on social media. Miss me with all of that. No. Mm-mm.
I'll go listen to the first season of the show, Mr. Johnson. Hey, that's what I was supposed to leave. I said I've been working on cleaning it up, and it was something I was. Hey, when I talk to some of my family members, I come up. I got it from y'all. I hope y'all know that. But I ain't gonna use any excuse. It's broke. This is my thing. But I love it. I love it. I love it. And especially you said another pillar we have here with everything culture, and that's respect. It's so easy to get to that point where you can disrespect someone without knowing it. But when you realize you've done so, it's easy to, hey, apology, and how can we get back to this? That's when we could talk about communication. That if you, no matter what your house may look like, as long as it's nothing dangerous, if you ask me to take my shoes off when I come in your house, I need to take my shoes off before I come in your house. That's how I look at respect.
There you go.
And some people are not with that, but that's something we will. I'm telling you, we're gonna touch on in the future. Our next question. So this is 3 layered. Okay. If you could recommend a movie, a book, and a TV show, which 3 would you recommend?
The book, the Bible.
All right.
You really have to study it. You have to really study it and get into the scriptures. Just don't glance over and read and say you understand it. No, you have to read before and after and get a clear understanding, and then praying in between for it to be more clear. A movie, one of my favorites was Love and Basketball. that's one of my favorites, basketball. But I could flip it so easy because I also like Flight.
Flight. That's the comedy, right?
Oh, no, Flight was no comedy. That was Denzel as an airline pilot.
Is that the one where he was he drunk or was he the one he landed? I think I remember. I don't know if I watched it or not. It was some type of substance that he was on that caused the issue. Is that the one? Pause it. I hate when they do that. I think it lagged on you real quick. But go ahead. What you were talking about, Flight?
Yeah, Flight. He did not allow the dead stewardess to take the fall. He manned up because he was about to walk.
Mm-hmm.
He was about to get away with everything. And he just said, "No, you wasn't gonna do it like that." We told the truth, and he was almost scot-free, from that. But it was so many layers of a storyline, a life storyline that was coming unwind. In spite of the position he was in, here he was, as one of his homies said, "Man, you are a hero. You never have to pay for another drink again." But they did not know all the stuff that he had endured, to get to that point. So I'm like that, as well as gangster pictures, of course. The Wire. Oh man, The Wire. I was front and center. Front and center. And what a lot of folks think that was just always commercial. No, that was just showing the other side of that side of life.
Okay. So The Wire be your TV show. I haven't watched The Wire yet, but I once again, it was one of the things I remember the time I said either I'm watching The Wire or I'm watching Breaking Bad, and I said because I didn't have enough time to watch both, and I chose Breaking Bad. But it's on my to do. I watch some of it, but I know it's a good show. I know it's a good show because I'm one of those guys. When I start watching, like I'm going to finish. I will clear a whole weekend. I will be doing all type of chores around the house with that on while I'm watching it, while I'm doing everything else. Well, I'm gonna get into it. I know
Now,
some.
have you watched? Have you started watching? What's that? Snowfall.
Oh yes, I was like absolutely. Now, and I tell that. See, once again, you gonna make me pause this and talk. We could talk about that. But Snowfall is such a good show, and it once again, I was born in the '80s, and so I've seen a lot how crack would affect our community from a later level. Still to this day, you can say, but how they portrayed it, how and I can only imagine. But when I talk to my friends that live on the West Coast, that live in LA, they're like, oh yeah, they are spot on. They're like, they're like, it feels like you're still there. One of my friends said, felt like he was having PTSD. He was like, because some of the scenes in there was like, you feel it like the news casters and what was going on, and yeah,
Because he was
and
front and center, so to speak.
he was a kid, but he was like, he was grown up. Those experiences and things are happening. It was like, it's kind of like you mentioned something that's going on in Texas. If you talk about what was something that happened in Texas, everybody was like, it was a big thing. And I'm like, oh, we lived through that. Like, yeah, it was like that. But you didn't look at it. That was just your life. So, but when I say with Snowfall and we once again we could talk about it because I may bring up for Father's Day because if you caught up with it, I always say, how do y'all feel about the daddy? And a lot of people are like, I'm like, that's the one I feel like they can end it now with me. I'm like, he was trying to do the right thing for his people.
But
And his,
uh, personally speaking, when you start going against family, regardless of doing the right thing, start going against family. And he knew, as my father would always say, okay, if you don't want no involvement with it, don't even get involved from the very beginning.
mm-hmm.
From the very beginning, step away, walk away, and tell his wife, hey, I'm out of here. You can come with me. But if you go sit there and start getting involved with it, then all of a sudden you're going to have a conscience. Nah.
The conscious one is the fact when he found out who was leading in charge. When he find out the CIA was involved, oh, he was
Yeah.
out because
Yeah.
he saw what the CIA did. Look what made him do to his own family, and that's what he didn't want to see that with his son because he knew
Right.
it sooner or later it was going to happen. And I think he was looking bigger and that's what he's trying to say. He wasn't going at his son; he was going for the CIA. And man,
They had did they have a cold answer for him? Oh man. Like you said, we still got to figure out, okay, what happened because I'm anxious to see how that's going to turn out because I still said, don't underestimate the mother.
that's what I said. You say the same. Okay, so you see, we get all distracted. But I said this sound like because she coincidentally she had to go. Come on now.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
All
come
of
on
a sudden,
now.
too. Like, so Drake, if you like Snowfall, you're gonna have a field day on the first and second. The third season wasn't that good,
I heard.
but all the other seasons with The Wire, you gonna go like, oh my god.
Mm. Yeah, these are going to be topics in the future for us. And I want to talk to people that's actually been in that realm of, not only drug use, but the drug distribution as well. Because that created a culture.
Yeah,
It's
it
no
did.
doubt it created a culture. I have family members that are suffering from it. I have family members that profited from it. So, I think the conversation need to be had.
Yeah,
That's just my
definitely.
thing.
On that part, I would never forget because see the watching it in high school is one thing,
mm,
but I watched. If I had to tell it and be truthful with it, I saw the very ending to it. That means once they came to the mortuary, I seen
mm,
some of the most laid out funerals with the Rolls Royce, the horse-driven buggy, for the casket and all of that,
Mm-hmm.
because of the kingpins. And then when the rival gangs would come down there to the mortuary before they started shooting, rival gangs would come down there to pay their respect and dress to the till and the ladies and all of that. Yeah, but the main key thing, in that season of time, he didn't have no retirement. They was only making so much money before they had to get bumped off and move to the next person. And that's what a lot of folks fail to really look at and see. There was no retirement. They made the money. They had the cars. They had the ladies. They had the properties. But a lot of them are not here to enjoy it.
Mm. Well, see, we once again, that's something we gonna bring back. But we're gonna continue because we gotta get back on you now. We gotta get back to you.
Okay.
If you could call 3 people to speak with, just to have a conversation with, who would be those 3 people? It could be people here, no longer here, people that you've never met before. That doesn't matter. Just 3 people that come to mind.
My dad is number one. Lord knows I miss him. He left in 2005. Yeah, my dad is number one. You said 3 people. Wow. Now, one is hitting me right at the top of my head, and I don't know. Well, I know why. I would just actually like to know, as much as the stuff that was thrown against him, he still had that drive to go forth and try to help and educate his people. And even that last movie, that's One Friday Night, when
In Miami.
In Miami.
Yeah.
Malcolm shared with Sam Cooks, Muhammad Ali, and Jim Brown about the course, about their life situation.
Mm-hmm.
What was driving you to sit up and share all this wealth of information that these brothers some of them wasn't even aware of? Sammy winded up changing his whole outlook on music.
Man, when I look at his story and how once again, we ain't gonna get we can't keep getting sidetracked. But when I because I didn't know how he died. One of my buddies said how he died. He was raping a woman. I'm like, what?
No.
I'm like, okay. And once again, when somebody says something, you take the time and research. And when I started researching, I'm like, oh, I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one. He would that. I know no man is perfect, but man, the way everything was falling together and apart, and what he was doing for his community, and what he was shaking up at the time.
Yes.
I don't know about that one. I'm like, I'm gonna lean on a different side. That didn't seem
his own masters, running his own record label.
He was trying to buy American Bandstand. I never even knew. Do you know what? I understand the significance of American Bandstand was at the age I'm at now. That was a big deal. And if you're trying to do that because that representation is a change. It just takes one.
Exactly.
If you can slander and you can make them look bad in the public eye, that's what it takes. I'm not one of those folks. And once again, we got to bring it back. Let me bring it back. You got one more person.
I said my dad, Malcolm. I'll go to musician, Billy Preston.
Billy Preston.
Billy Preston.
Wow.
I met Billy Preston twice, and Billy was so down to earth, but his musical skills, dude, things he was doing on organ and piano, I would just like to okay, we know all gifts come from above,
Mm-hmm.
but how he was able to enhance that, even though I know that he was being trained, to come to that level, and how he was able to explain it. Now, the sad part about it, it came with his trappings that he later on got caught up with, and that was the drug thing. But it still never took away from his gifts and his talents.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I could have said a lot of other musicians, but one in particular, it will always be Billy Preston.
Houston, Texas, too. Let's see.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
but that LA lifestyle.
Oh, once again, I'm telling you, I can go on and on conversations. Once again, I haven't been, but I just sit back and I pay attention. I'm just,
Yeah,
it's a different culture. Like, it's like,
completely, completely.
mm. All right. What has been an impactful moment in your life?
Um, wow. Let me go recent. This pandemic.
Woo. Go ahead.
Pandemic. Now you didn't ask for this, but that the platform, so might as well share it.
Absolutely.
March of last year, I did not know I had a bleeding prostate.
Oh no.
So much so, my brother, that I was in the hospital through the whole pandemic 3 times. Yeah, it shook me because one thing brothers don't talk about is their health.
I'm just gonna do it. Keep talking. I'm gonna put you in touch with one of my. You will love this guy. Love him. Love him. He'll love you. Eric Taylor with Priority Mail. He was a guest on the show some time ago. I seen, and his main goal. He's a black male nurse, and he talks about everything we need to hear. He talk about how we don't take care of our bodies until it's too late. We care more about the 4 wheels that we drive than the 2 feet that we're walking on. And he's laid back and he'll talk to you. You reach out to him. You ask him questions. He talk about prostate in detail. But he make it fun. He make it freely. He make it down to earth. He also speaks about anything to do with STDs. He talk about what you should eat. He talk about drinking cigar. He'll touch on all of it. And even with COVID, I'm trying to bring them back on soon. They'll talk about, hey, being black, dealing with what we have right now, some of the fears we have. He's one of the reasons why I went and got my first vaccine a couple weeks ago. Not only because what we see on TV, and don't get me wrong, I had my, um, I was nervous about it. I was thinking, I don't trust the medical system sometimes, especially with
Suspicions,
vaccines
because we know how they do.
because we know exactly. But
Yeah,
no, talking to him, meeting him, knowing that he is kinfolk, I would say where I'm from. He's a trusted individual, and he wasn't with it at first. But he took his time. He did. He spoke to the other people he knew and trusted. He did his research, and that's how a community should work. Once again, you asked me something about CPS or foster care or something like that, or mediation. Oh, I can run you down. Oh, I'm the expert in that, but I'm not an expert in health. So let me reach out to someone in my community that is.
there you go.
And
There you
he
go.
was able to share many things with me that was very helpful to me. And and that's what made it easier for me to do so. So, but with that, so I'm glad. Hope everything working out. I'm praying for you for first and foremost.
My brother, that was a scary moment, and this is the reason why I brought it up. It was not only a humbling experience. Here, can you imagine? I okay. I took sick over at my mom's house in San Francisco. To wake up in the morning to relieve yourself and you're just urinating straight blood. Get in my car, come all the way an hour and 15 minutes to drive home. Had to stop on the side of the road to relieve nothing but more blood. Get all the way to the house, look my wife in the eyes, and tell her, don't say nothing. Just walk on upstairs, take a shower, and say I could sleep this off.
Yeah,
Took a nap, took a nap, woke up, great. I'm gonna definitely look him up. Took a nap, and finally, same thing happened all over again. I had to go get her. She looked at me and said, "Let's go. You going to ER?" Because brothers don't. No, 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 no. I'll be all right. And what I didn't realize until after all the fanfare and everything, I could have bled out and
wow, 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 wow,
didn't even know it.
wow.
So I just said, yeah. I said, you know what? Whether brothers want to hear it or not, your body tells you. Listen to your body. Your body gives you warnings. I didn't want it. I didn't see it. It wasn't that I was too busy. I didn't see it. but that was a major wake up, humbling call for me.
Mm, mm, mm. Wow. Thank you for sharing. You got me over tearing up over here. Man, that's good. Cause you got so much you got a long life to live, you know. And this is just me saying, this is God speaking through me right here, I would say, because you have a large family, you have a good family, um and just from me, just from this pandemic and meeting Leah and the rest of your daughters and just you through social media, man, you come off like, man, that's something I would like to see more in my community. That's something I would like to be like when I get up, because you steady sharing, you know, and you come off from a genuine perspective. Yeah, so please take care of yourself, and what we can
Yep.
do that, and that's why I sent you to Eric immediately, because this is exactly what he talks about. Exactly what he's talking about. Everything you said, because and he always said, "Why the woman got to come and take care of you?" Because and when I'm gonna start sending you all, because he has a group, just like I have my Everything Culture group. He has a group on Facebook that he said specifically for men. Women, y'all going nowhere. This is for us. This is for men. And he talks about what we need to do for our health, because sometimes we're too afraid to speak about it, or we too strong and we worried about being shamed for things. This is a very open concept, and it's something we need, especially, I'm telling you, it's something we need. And I've seen my uncle, I ain't gonna give him no, like, I've seen it happen. You know, I can say that I've seen it happen. I've had cousins and you name it. And even myself, I had heart condition I had to take care of. My wife had to make sure I had some. They had to sign some stuff off when I was under the under the what you call it, the anesthesia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I woke up in a whole thing around my neck, and they're like, my aunt and her like, you wouldn't go say yes to it, so we did it anyway. And it's a
Wow.
big help, big help. But woo, okay, thank you for that. That was. Woo,
But thank God I'm still here, and
amen.
have been checked out, and everything is back to normal, or back better than what it was. So
Mm,
that's the blessing part about it.
absolute blessing.
Can't take things for granted. That's the whole key thing, and that's one thing that I'm sharing. Whether a person want to hear it or not, don't take it for granted, and don't blow. When a brother is trying to reach out, at least hear what he's trying to say. You
Mm,
know, at least hear what he's trying to say. And there's something about the women, no matter what, when they are sharing with you. Oh no, you're going. No, hands down, you're going, because ain't nothing like when they talk about the pandemic. Can you imagine going through all of that during the pandemic? Have to stay in the hospital,
yep. Yep.
and your wife can't see you. She had to drop you off at the door, and you just end up with a bunch of strangers, everybody masked up, and you just going like, "My Lord,
Mm.
oh, okay, Lord, I know I'm in your care. I know you're going to work this out for me. Not once, not twice, 3 times,
Wow, 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 wow.
from April to June."
Shout out to Dr. Johnson. Like, thank you. Thank you, Smith. I know you've been thanked so much, but thank you for, from Everything Culture. We appreciate you, because I'm thank Mrs. D713 as well. I'm Mrs. Drake, you know, it,
Yes.
I had to tell my mentee the other day. He was saying something. I'm like, about folding towels or something like that, or folding clothes. I was like, he said, your wife don't do that. I'm like, hey, do you know any other married men in your life? No, I'm the only one. I suggest you start taking advice from married men, other than taking advice from whoever you taking the advice from. I like, pay attention, because once again, you find you a wife, and what the Lord say, you find you a good thing. But hey, don't we'll talk about that another day. I talk about it any day, but we going back. We'll come back to it. Oh man! So if you had a theme song, what would it be?
If I had, okay, I'm gonna go. If I could help somebody, then my living wouldn't be in vain. That's my spiritual side.
Okay.
Now, I love it when you call me Big Papa.
Okay.
That's why I
little,
started.
little notorious with you. Okay. Switch it
Yeah,
up on us.
yeah.
Okay. I'm not mad at it. What day we go catch you? What time? Maybe in the morning we hear the spiritual, when you're waking up, putting your shoes on, and when you getting up and go out, let's switch it up a
Yeah,
little bit on us. Okay.
yeah.
I love it.
I'm
I love
still
it.
human. I'm still human, and I have
Absolutely.
my faults, but yet still, hey, bro, yeah. I ain't hurt nobody, so that's
Uh,
main.
Baby. Okay, okay. We're halfway in it. How would you define joy?
How would I define joy? Not having to look over my shoulder, having peace of mind, being able to share knowledge, uh, having history in a positive way, and looking over accomplishments that the good Lord have allowed me to take upon, and most of all, completing.
Love it, love it, love it. What privileges do you benefit from?
Uh, I benefit. This is a believe it or not, privilege I benefit from seeing my grandchildren interact,
Hmm.
watching my children as they still are going up in the job world, accomplishing major goals that they have
Hmm.
set for themselves, and of course, some of them are taken. Yeah,
Hmm. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So this is going to be a little different question. This is the curveball we have for some folks.
okay.
So if you could be any animal, what animal would you be?
The lion.
A lion. If you couldn't be a lion, what would you be after that?
Couldn't be a lion. What would I be after that? Well, you talking about a curve? Um, hmm, animal. I couldn't be the lion. Oh, you didn't knock me down, Drake. With
Oh, uh,
oh,
you're not the
uh,
only one that experienced this.
wait, okay. If I couldn't be the lion, I never did think about anything else other than the lion, king of the jungle. Look, um, only because I always admire their strength because they vegetarians, but what's that? The
Gorilla.
silverback gorilla. Yeah,
Silverback gorilla.
yeah,
Right here, right
yeah,
here, right
yeah.
here.
Because when I saw some of the videos of their strength, I was going like, Jesus Christ.
Mm.
Woo!
If you couldn't be a lion or a gorilla, this the last one. What's animal you'll be after that?
Whoa.
I know that I know. I was about to say when you worry about the second one, I was like you ain't the third one. Show go through y'all.
In reading about the eagle, yeah, I flip it there. I'll go with the eagle.
Mm.
The eagle has so many things that when you read upon the eagle, and so many things that how he accomplished, how he get his prey, and even those that call themselves trying to attack him, and how he just go up, you know, go up, take him up to so many thousands of feet up in the air, and then
That's out.
yep, just say okay,
Yeah. That
next.
okay. The reason why I asked this question, and it's scary. My first two was a lion and a gorilla as well when I first did this. That's why.
Minds think alike.
My third one was an owl though. like,
Is that right?
mm-hmm. But the reason why this is a Russian personality test. You know, it's just something they'll use. That the first one is what you want people to perceive you as. The second one is what people actually see you as. And the third one is what you actually are.
Mm.
Now it don't ain't hold any weight, but it always make me think, and that was a question I caught up and I was like, it made me say as well.
That's interesting.
Oh
That's
yeah. But when you said I said lion. I said when I was gonna before you even came, I said you gonna say silverback gorilla. Lion, I knew not just gorilla, he gonna say silverback too. I felt that.
Great minds think alike. Like
Oh yeah.
wow.
Oh yeah. And I said when you said another respected bird, and I was like, okay. I said oh, that's so unique.
I would have never thought the owl.
Mm-mm-mm. And
The
another
owl.
one, my wife loves owls, so that's something else as well. So
And the thing about the owls, ain't nothing gonna creep up on the owl.
correct, man. You can see what they can do with their heads and necks
Yeah.
and stuff.
Ain't
they
nothing
they're
creep up
good
on the owl.
and the alleged wisdom they have.
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right. So the question that we have right here. So in your life, or in this now, who do you respect?
My mom. Uh, yeah. My elders. Um, I have a big respect for caretakers
Mm,
because of the fact that they are not given, it was partially given the recognition they should have. Caretakers, man, have a drooling job to deal with those that suffer with dementia or mental health issues. Um, and the amazing part, Drake, none of us walk around with a label on our foreheads
mm,
saying um, mentally challenged, bipolar, or whatever label they want to leave it as when they act out of character. Caretakers have a lot they have to endure and then still have to try to go on with their life and their lifestyle. My heart goes out to them, especially with this, not only with this pandemic, but because of the fact that really didn't know. You know, they don't really discuss all the patients they run into,
mm.
unless it becomes an issue later on. Oh yeah, uh, 2 or 3 years ago, I ran into such and such, and they had that. Like, whoa, you had to do all of that, and then had to still try to keep themselves healthy to
Yep.
help the next person out.
Wow. 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 Ooh, good. Well, once again, that's something we'll bring back to in the future as well. When I'm editing this, I'll be taking so many notes. Um, what are you responsible for?
Uh, in my mind, I'm responsible to try to do everything I can to keep my wife happy. I'm responsible for keeping myself healthy,
Mm,
um, making sure I take my vitamins, eating correctly, getting out exercise, and if it's just a walk around the block, I'm responsible for that. And
yes.
I'm responsible for to try to make sure that I'm in a peaceful surrounding.
Mm,
And I don't care how combative the situation might get. I don't have to entertain that. You know, I don't have to entertain it, and that's my top priority right there. I'm not coming to referee. No.
love the wisdom. Love the wisdom. 'Cause trust me, I need to hear this. You just don't know. Ooh, okay. So who were and who are your role models?
My dad, and recently lost him last year. One of my uncles, my uncle Laney.
My
My uncle,
condolences.
he love him to death. Um, I have my dad, my uncle Laney, my first pastor, Reverend James A. Morgan, was one
Mm,
of my role models. I have a very good childhood friend. We wouldn't label him as a role model, but Kevin Hall, we have mutual respect for one another because we came up together. He's a pastor, and I really respect him. All through this COVID, we reach out twice a week to one another to make sure that we're cool. Um, and some of my good friends down through the years, I have much respect for them because even though we don't see one another on a regular, we still reach out on social media to make sure that we're okay. You know,
yes.
um, that's off the top of my head.
I love it. Love it. Love it.
Oh,
Love it.
and then look, and I would get shot if I don't say this. My sister.
All right.
My sister.
Okay.
Yes, my sister.
Shout out to the sis. Okay. Thank you. If you could start over in life at any moment or just at the very beginning, would you do so?
At any moment, yes, I would.
Okay. Okay. All
So
right. All
many
right.
left turns I made that I shouldn't have made. I see now.
Mm,
Yeah.
all right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. How do you relax?
I relax by it's funny, but it's true. I relax having music on my Pandora,
Okay.
my Alexa, having a TV on, having a headset on with a movie, and sitting back in the chair.
Hmm.
Now
Okay.
that's my relaxation. Yeah.
Yeah. Some good entertainment. Okay. Love
You
it.
know, going from all the, look, you talking about surround sounds, everything going, and then when the wife say coming all the way upstairs, say, "Didn't you hear me calling you?" With all this going on, really?
I'm saying the way you live and the way y'all got the setup going, I know you got some good headphones. So that's the
Oh,
thing about it.
some of the best
You get,
Bose as well as Dr. Dre.
and if
Yes.
you got those noise canceling joints, oh, you ain't hearing nothing. It's a
Thank,
wrap.
thank you.
It's
Just sitting
nothing.
up smiling. That's all. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So when did you realize you were different?
always was taught. I was always told that in junior high school
Hmm.
because I didn't get off into the weed thing with the kids, and I always talked about what I was coming up with, and that was church. So anytime they came, here come the church boy, here come the church boy. Do you do anything? Do you go to parties? Nope.
Hmm.
Well, how do you enjoy life? I enjoy going to church. So I heard that always. You know, I was always the square or whatever. Yeah, but hey, I'm still here.
Amen.
I'm still here. So, and it's so funny about that, Drake. I didn't choose to go to parties. I didn't even have a desire to go to parties because I've heard of all the different things that was going on. But on Friday nights, my mom and dad gave me the okay to ride the bus that would come down in our area and pick us up and take us over to Oakland.
Hmm.
Now, the church service started at 10 p.m. Sometimes church service then let out to 3 or 5 in the morning and ride the bus all the way back. I'm thinking no supervision. Did this for months. Did this for a long time. Little did I know there was a neighbor that was on the bus that knew my parents.
That's how it
So,
happens.
so little, even though I felt I was trusted by my parents to go and do that, and I never did
And
go anywhere else. And they constantly instilled in me, they had no idea that this lady, Sister Jones, and her husband was part of that until she came to them and told them, said, "Yeah, I saw your son." My mom said, "Well, he goes there all the time on Friday nights." I said, "Yeah, well, okay." And didn't know that later on they made the connection. And my mom had told me. And I said, "Well, they let you know I did go where I said I was going." She said, "Yeah, we knew."
goes back to the respect.
Yeah.
Do you know 3 people who trust you? If so, who are those 3 people?
Do I know 3 people that trust me? Hmm. I can only assume. To say that I really know, I can't say.
Hmm.
Uh, I pray and hope that the life I live would display show trustworthiness, but you don't know what a person how they view you or look at you. You know,
Okay.
they might say it, but I don't want to be the one to put the label on them and say, "Oh yeah, such and such. Oh, they know me, they trust me." I don't know.
I understand. I
Yeah,
like that. Like that.
I'm gonna be on the safe side with that one. Like,
Okay. Okay. What is a quote that you live by?
humble yourself in the sight of the Lord, and He will lift you up.
All right. I don't
Yeah.
even have to ask who's that from. What's that from?
I fit to say, I used to know that scripture by heart. Forgive me, Lord, for not being able to say that often. I just know the scripture off the top of my head, but I learned that even in junior fellowship,
Hmm.
all about self lifting and all that. No, that was never a part. If you humble yourself, He'll do the lifting.
Hmm.
So I'm not trying to get the glory.
Okay. This is one of my favorite questions. I hate saying your last meal, so I'm trying to find another way to rephrase it. So, if you had any meal you can choose from,
Any meal.
any meal,
Uh
and
huh.
anybody could prepare it for you, what would it be, and who would prepare it?
Ooh. Wow. Uh, Hmm. But it's not the last. You said the last meal.
You don't have to be because last meal. Because when I say last meal, this is your man. You going all in. It's just something. But if it don't have to be your last meal, that's all I say. But if you can go in on any meal, anybody can cook it for you. You know.
Now, when I think of all the different dishes we have had, one of the most recent pleasurable ones was I know you're gonna say you got to be kidding. Was help me in Texas, Papasan,
Papados.
Papados seafood, Papados seafood. Drake, we was down there in April. Jesus.
It's a hometown favorite. I will say that.
Oh man. Now I love seafood. I've had seafood in Texas. I've had seafood in Florida. Florida with their jumbo shrimp,
Hmm.
tiger pod, tiger prawns. Um, the thing about having who to prepare it though, I would get one of the top chefs and just have a complete seafood platter.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, seafood your thing. Papados. Would it
Yes.
see? Okay, with being in Texas, that's more of the Cajun thing. Up here we ain't no Cajun in Seattle. I'll be telling them like y'all, they be acting like they. I said no, no, no. They got the fresh seafood here. Okay, now
Yeah.
this is the best fresh seafood I've had in my life. Now being in the third coast, in the Gulf. Oh, you go get the dirty. You go get the shrimp. That's why you got to see. And I believe that's why you season it so well because you can't just have just a little salt and butter. Now you got to throw a little bit extra because me and my buddy, we from East Texas, and we always say we didn't know we didn't know any other type of fish other than catfish until we were adults. Okay, until we left our hometown, that's all we ate was catfish. And I'm just being transparent. That's all we had. So up here in Seattle on the Pacific Northwest, when I say I've had some Alaskan cod and flounder, I'm like, this stuff is it's delicious. But when you try to get some crawfish and things of that nature, oh no, not here. Not here.
Wow.
Not here. They didn't even
So
know where roux at. It's a little what's got little fish spot around. I would tell they didn't know what roux was and they were trying to make gumbo. I'm like, nah, you can't even start with gumbo if you don't know how to have the roux in it. But they have delicious chowder. I've never had chowder as good. I hated chowder because they don't make chowder down here, like down in Texas, but good they don't make it well. We'll say that. But up here, oh my god, it's a once again it's a different culture and it's a whole different flavor. I will say that.
so the seafood up there in Seattle is way different than the seafood down in New Orleans.
Yeah. Oh. Oh yeah. Because it's hey man, how you been to Galveston? How you seen the water down there? Oh man, you do not want it. Like it took me one time to go swimming in Galveston, and I was like, you feel like you got a whole film on you. It's very dirty, very 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 dirty. Oh, they know it. Oh, they know it. It's some areas it's a little bit cleaner, but oh, it is filthy, and that's why. But at the same, that's why I say the fish down there is
You
okay.
understand?
What is your favorite holiday?
Ah, wow. My favorite holiday.
Hmm.
Hmm. You know what? Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Okay.
Thanksgiving.
All right.
Uh, Christmas for the children, but Thanksgiving because I wish every day could. Well, I try to always say every day is a day of Thanksgiving.
Mm.
I had to wait for no special day. But what made me flip it like that is because look like folks go out of their way to. We got 365 days a year. They go out of their way for a week or 2 weeks to provide for the homeless.
Mm.
And Lord knows, not only because of the pandemic, the homeless have tripled out here in California.
Mm.
They even have campsites for the homeless. And you go
It's
like, wow,
it's like here in Seattle too.
same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Once again, coming from where I'm from, I was not. It was a culture shock. Culture. When you see camps, little villages, and things of that nature.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. And that's a conversation for the future as well. Ooh.
Please let me know so we can bring it up. It's so bad out here. You know how they had the what you call that you put on the roof, those solar panels?
Mm-hmm.
They got the solar panels laying on the ground for the campers at the homeless shelters in Berkeley.
Mm.
You going like, are you serious? Are you serious? When I was Ubering, there was a lady that happened to be. I was Ubering. I picked her up 4:00 in the morning, and I looked at her. She looked at me. She got in the car. So about 20 minutes in, she said, "I know you wonder why you picked me up at that homeless shelter." I said, "Hey, not here to judge." She said, "I got 2 jobs," and I stopped.
Bad.
She said, "I can't." Mm-hmm.
But that's what we get back to. But we got 2 more questions. We got 2 more. Okay. How would you want people to remember you?
Cheerful, straight shooter, loving. I even have to laugh on that one.
All right. But I love it. And I think you're achieving it. Last question. And once again, thank you, Mr. Johnson, for being with me today. I really appreciate it. If y'all listen to us right now, y'all ain't gonna hear all the conversations we've had. I've cut out a lot. Just let you know that right now. But I might have to put this on Patreon or something for y'all to hear the whole thing uncut. But this has been a great conversation. He will be back in the future, God willing. Last question. What changes would you want to see, or what changes you want to bring to your culture?
The awareness of our hidden history is one. Stop allowing social media to limit you, as well as start right now, even with the little babies, instilling in them to reach beyond the reach. In other words, don't allow nobody to put a ceiling like you can only go so high. Even if you have to wind up starting your own, I would love to be able to live to see our culture owning not only more properties, more businesses, more creative jobs, because nothing's new up under the sun. And even when you start even doing your biblical research, a lot of things that we think is new was done centuries ago, but it's been hidden. So once they get turned over again, and hopefully the next generations that's coming up will be able to share that, where it won't be it don't have to necessarily be profitable, but be helpful for everybody else. I would love to see an end to like you just got through saying about the hunger situation. I would love to see an end to the homeless. But the way it's going right now, Drake, there won't be no end. But we have to work as hard as we can to keep our generations and generations to come not to get in a predicament like that.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. And how we get there. Absolutely correct. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. Once again, greatly appreciate you. Before you get in, if you want to be found, how can people find you?
I started to say, go through Leah.
Y'all make sure to go through Leah with Take Your Space Pod or Champions the Discourse. Y'all know who she is. If you don't, I'm gonna make sure y'all find her. And oh yeah, she really TT. I mean, like it's really, once again, you got a supportive family. I support them. They even support me. And once again, and I appreciate y'all. Y'all are some good folks in my book. You really are.
Love you. You're almost like a family member. I mean that. All sincerity.
Thank you. Because once again, I just see good people. My family, we try to see it, and I appreciate it. And I once again look forward to having you in the near future. I want to say thank y'all all again for listening and watching. Oh Lord. I'm your host, Mr. D713 with Everything Culture. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, TikTok now, Twitter, Instagram. And you can find us on Red Circle, which is our new RSS. And you can finally listen to us on Audible now. So if you like listening to books and things there, hey, you just can download us and we're right there with you as well. So almost everywhere you can find Everything Culture. So this is the makings of Mr. Calvin Johnson Sr., and I would say thank you all, and God bless.
Bless you, Drake.